Hello everyone, welcome to my micro lecture. In this micro lecture, I am going to explain to you how self-concept affect consumer behavior and brand selection. Let's start with understanding what is a self-concept. The self-concept summarizes the beliefs a person holds about his or her own attributes and how he or she evaluates the self on these qualities. Although your overall self-concept may be positive, there certainly are parts of it you evaluate more positively than others. A person's self-concept is a work in progress. Some parts are fairly stable, but each of us modifies some elements of it as we make our way through life. And particularly as we discover new ideas, social groups that we admire, and images we receive from the culture around us that endorse certain types of people over others, we modify our self-concept. Each element that contributes to our self-concept is an identity. We all choose many products, from cars to clothing, because we want to highlight or hide some aspects of the self. Marketers use self-concept to appeal to consumers to buy products that will symbolically represent the ideal self that they may be attempting to achieve. It is important to understand that we buy some products because we think they are consistent with our actual self, while we buy other products to help us to reach an ideal standard. We may strategically choose clothing and other products to show off to others. In other words, we are managing their impression of us with our product choices. Let's understand the difference between ideal self and actual self. The ideal self is a person's conception of how he or she would like to be, whereas the actual self refers to our more realistic appraisal of the qualities we do and don't have. Ideal self refers to how you wish you were and how you think you should be. It is shaped by our life experiences, messages you receive from other people about how you should be, cultural values, and things you admired in your role models. In our private self, we have our actual and ideal selves that I explained earlier. We also have public selves, and public selves consist social self and ideal social self. Social self is the consumer's perception of how others see them and how they would like to be seen. This may or may not be consistent with the person's actual and ideal self. This influences consumer behavior, and people try to maintain or improve their image by purchasing or not purchasing certain products that will help their social self. Ideal social self is also a reflection of public self, as it reflects how consumers would like others to see them. The ideal social self is driven by social approval, in which consumers are motivated to do or act in a certain way so that others think highly of them. For this reason, consumers purchase certain products to appear a certain way and to avoid disapproval from others. Ideal social self-image brings us to impression management. Impression management means that we work to manage what others think of us to reach the ideal social self-image. Impression management applies to all sorts of behavior, from professional contacts to romantic relationships. Let's review the relationship between the self-image of a person and the product he wants to buy. After matching the self-concept with the brand image, a consumer tries to find products for his satisfaction. If he is satisfied, his self-concept gets reinforced. The interaction between the product and the self-concept can be situation-specific. In some situations, the self-concept can be enhanced or reinforced to a lesser or higher degree. When a person's ideal self and self-image are consistent or very similar, a state of congruence exists, which leads to high self-esteem. If there is a mismatch, how you see yourself, which is your self-image, and what you would like to be, which is your ideal self, then this is likely to affect how much you value yourself and result in low self-esteem. Therefore, there is an intimate relationship between self-image, ideal self, and self-esteem. The larger the difference between self-image and ideal self is, the lower an individual's self-esteem is going to be. A person's ideal self may not be consistent with their actual self, which is their self-image, or what is even possible. Sometimes we have ideals that are not even possible to reach. This is called incongruence. When there is incongruence, self-actualization is difficult. Let's see what is self-actualization then. According to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs pyramid, self-actualization represents the highest order motivations that drives us to realize our true potential and achieve our ideal self. It is also the least pressing on the hierarchy of needs. This level is the level where passions and wants can be easily fulfilled. At this level, the chosen products are beyond the product's utilitarian value. We go into the realm of esoteric, which is the hedonic value of the products. This means that at the top of the pyramid, people aren't using your product just for the purpose of the product, but because it contributes to their self-concept idea and to their identity. To better understand, let's look at the pyramid of fashion that links to Maslow's needs. The higher we go into needs scale, the more intangible and exotic is the need and the brand. This is a way to represent the hierarchy of brands according to price and quality. Is this pyramid immutable? No. Brands evolve and consumers also evolve. A bad distribution strategy can have a negative effect on brand perception. For example, this is the case of Ralph Lauren and Michael Kors, two premium brands that are struggling to compete in the luxury market because they are betting to every channel, from wholesale to outlets to online, and they are losing pricing control. When you are selling the same item in different channels and the price is different than each other in each channel, customers will react. And luxury is about uniqueness. If everyone has the same purse, it no longer becomes special. Since both Ralph Lauren and Michael Kors don't have a consistent distribution strategy to deliver a unique and authentic experience, they fell down from being an aspirational brand to accessible luxury and premium brand status and the pyramid of fashion. To wrap up this short lecture and what we covered so far, it can be said that understanding consumer self-concept is particularly important for luxury products and brands due to its wider implications for consumer psychology and behavior and overall marketing practice.